everybody, today we're talking about food alchemy and deception. Most coaches and people who help you with nutrition will focus on usually four things with regards to nutrition. They'll talk about calories, they'll talk about macros, they'll talk about nutrient timing, they'll talk about nutrient quality. It's usually one of those four things that they'll focus on and say, oh, it's this thing you need to focus on, without kind of talking about the benefits of the other thing, right? And this is kind of a trap. There is, out of the four things I listed, there's one thing that matters more important than anything else. And that is actually the calorie. There is a principle called CICO, which is with the C, calories in, calories out. And that is the principle that holds true with the law of thermodynamics, which is why we're talking alchemy and chemistry and everything else. And that's what allows you to either get to whatever state you want to get to. So what I mean by that is, let's say you're like, hey, I'm trying to build muscle and I'm focusing on my macros. So I'm eating like 250 grams of protein, right? So if I'm eating 250 grams of protein, and we'll ignore the other macros for now, let's say they're in a suitable amount. If I'm eating that much protein, but I'm still in what we call a caloric deficit, which I'll go into later in a little bit, that means I'm still not going to end up building muscle, even with eating 200 grams of protein. That's a lot of protein, like for a human to be able to eat. Same thing with, let's say, nutrient timing. I always eat protein after all my workouts, or after I'm active, or in the morning. If, once again, I don't have the right amount of calories, once again, if I'm still in a caloric deficit, I'm then not going to see the results. If I'm eating high quality proteins, so we're doing grass-fed meat, stuff like that, but once again, not eating the right amount of calories, still not going to see the results. So calories is the end-all, be-all with regards to your food-based alchemy. So calories, there's technically three states you can be in for caloric intake. So you can be in a caloric surplus, which means you're consuming more calories than you're burning. You can be in a caloric deficit, which means you're burning more calories than you're consuming. Then you can be calorically neutral, which means you're burning the same amount of calories that you're consuming. Now, why are these states important as far as like calories? So a caloric surplus is the state you need to be in to be able to gain muscle. A caloric deficit is the state you need to be in to lose weight. And caloric surplus also helps you by gaining muscle. You're also going to gain weight. But yeah, so caloric deficit allows you to lose weight. Calorically neutral lets you kind of just stay right where you are. You're not going to gain muscle. You're not going to lose weight. You're just going to stay as you are, happy. If you're happy, like, stay there. But those states need to be happening in order to achieve your goal, right? So once again, do the things I just mentioned help or matter? So we talked about, besides calories, we talked about macronutrients, we talked about nutrient quality, we talked about nutrient timing, right? Do those things matter in your life? Of course. There's a hierarchy of importance that you need to pay attention to, and those three things are lower on the scale than the calorie. So think of calorie as king. If you were trying to gain muscle, you need to be in a caloric surplus. And that'll, once again, also make you gain some weight as well. If you're trying to lose weight, you need to then be in a caloric deficit. If coaches are telling you not to focus on calories, if they're just kind of preaching, avoid sugar because insulin will ruin you, don't worry about the calories. Like, if they're preaching these things, definitely be wary of that advice, because that's just going to lead you astray. The calorie is always where you start, and then you can work your way downhill with all the other factors we just mentioned, but start at the calorie. It's king. Hope you enjoyed this training on food alchemy. I'm not going to eat any of this, by the way. It was Christmas yesterday, and I've eaten too much already. So if you enjoyed this training on food alchemy and have enjoyed learning about the deception that most coaches might try to place upon you in the industry, go ahead and give me a like in this video, which is like that thumbs up button. And then, of course, if you want more content like this, or interested in more exercises and or just more information and trainings, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel.